Hey. So, first thing I would like to point out is, before the video starts, due to new COPA regulations, I must insist that this video is not intended for children. That is why I have swapped out my White Raptors patch for the adult-oriented fuck you patch. Also, this video is going to detail some crime and some violence. So if that sort of discussion would bother you, then go watch my Tide Pods video, or one where I'm discussing Veterans Day, or something a little less harmful. I got a pretty decent Star Trek video. Now, that being said, I used to work on a government contract. And at this place where I worked, you could not access the internet unless it was a website that ended with .gov. You couldn't even access Bing or DuckDuckGo or any other search engines that might exist. I'm leaving out a big one. AskJeeves.net. That's it. Now, NASA.gov has a kids section with some somewhat cool games if you're really bored at work. But the point of this video, however, is I used to go to fbi.gov. And when I was there, I would like to look at the top 10 most wanted list, right? So I am recording this in the third week of November 2019. So it may be different if you're viewing this after that date. If you're viewing that before this date, then I'm very impressed. Now, the first person who tops the FBI's most wanted list is Yasser Abdel Saeed. Now, I'm quite familiar with this one. So this worthless asshat, he was very controlling and abusive to his wife and two daughters. The wife got fed up and she decided to escape the abuse, and she took her two beautiful daughters. He tracked them down and he shot and killed both of them in an honor killing. And you can find the 911 call that they made after they'd been shot. The one daughter is begging the dispatcher to get there quickly because she doesn't want to die. The police went to the wrong parking lot. Both daughters died. And the audio it'll break your heart. I wish terrible, terrible things upon that. I don't think person is a word that would describe him anymore. But the monster is 6'2", 180 pounds. He has black and gray hair that's receding, brown eyes, and he's originally from Egypt. And it is devastating to listen to that audio. Now, the second person on the FBI's most wanted list is Jason Derek Brown. Now, Mr. Brown appears to be a mellow surfer dude with pretty blonde hair. Yeah, man, what's up? It's misleading. He is a cold-blooded murderer. Now, outside of a movie theater in Phoenix, Arizona, he robbed an armored truck. Okay. He did so by shooting the security guard 5 times in the head. Unnecessarily. He is very fluent in French. He did his Mormon mission in right outside Paris, France. Sorry, I'm a Francophile. He is to be considered armed, very dangerous. While he will seem calm and mellow, if he feels cornered, he will kill. He is 5'10", 175, 180 pounds, very athletic, blonde hair, and green eyes. Alright, the third one on the list is Alexis Flores. Now this one is a little difficult to discuss. I have to tiptoe around with my words. So, a homeless, illegal immigrant was given work as a handyman in a building in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This person went by the name of Carlos. He had no papers, so there was no way of verifying his name. At this building, a 5-year-old girl was strangled to death, presumably by Carlos because he disappeared afterwards. There had been certain acts done to this small girl before she was killed. Now, Flores was later caught shoplifting in Arizona. He was given a fine and he was not arrested. Alexis Flores is an illegal immigrant, but because it wasn't a felony, he had no punishment. 2 years later, the police came to his apartment for a noise complaint. While at his apartment, they came across some adult entertainment. It is a felony to possess this type of adult entertainment. CP. So because of this, he was deported to Honduras. Now, what does this have to do with the child in Philadelphia? Upon his felony arrest, they drew blood and they put him in the system. And that matched the DNA that had been collected from the victim in Philadelphia. This was discovered after they deported him to Honduras. Great job, law enforcement. And it is believed that he has illegally come back into the United States. Now, he's a little guy. He's 5'4", 130 pounds. And regardless of your political leanings, if you come across him, he should be reported to the authorities, regardless of his immigrant status. I would personally love to come across this sick fuck myself. I don't think the authorities would be able to make it in time. So as you can see, that one's delicate to discuss. Alright, now this one's much more lighthearted. As lighthearted as you could get on a list of wanted fugitives from the FBI. But number 4 is Eugene Palmer. Now this man is 80 years old. He murdered his 39-year-old daughter-in-law. His son and daughter-in-law were having some issues, and she filed a restraining order against her husband, his son. She filed for divorce, and she was suing for the land that Eugene lived on. So, after shooting his daughter in the chest, with a shotgun, killing her. He fled from the police in a pickup truck. Then he fled into the woods, and after setting dogs loose, they were still unable to find him. His family believes that he is passed because he is dependent upon medication for his diabetes and a heart condition. However, he is an experienced hunter, fisherman, a hiker, a well-rounded outdoorsman, and the authorities have not been able to locate a body. Therefore, they believe he is still alive. Alright, the fifth person on this list actually comes from my old stomping grounds. The fugitive is Santiago Medeiros. Now, he's a gang member from Tacoma, Washington. And while driving around in a stolen van, he came across a brother and a sister coming from a family dinner. But because the brother was wearing a red coat, he shot and killed the 20-year-old sister, like a real tough guy. Later, while breaking into cars in a parking lot in a Tacoma apartment complex, 3 guys caught him and beat his ass. After his ass beating, he ran away and fired a gun over his shoulder, shooting and killing an innocent bystander. Now, he is 5'10", 140 pounds, and he has a tattoo on his left shoulder with the letter S, and a tattoo on his right shoulder with the letter E. I'm just assuming it stands for scared of everyone. Now, I am aware it isn't wise to make fun of a tough gangbanger, which is why I'm not. I'm making fun of this little bitch. See, he blamed the killings on a fellow gang member who was consequently killed for it. He also caused the arrest of his older brother, Jesus. So, yeah, like I said, real tough guy. Now, the sixth name on this list, and I will probably say this wrong, is Rafael Caro Quintero. He is a high-ranking cartel member that co-founded the now disintegrated Guadalajara cartel. Now, Caro Quintero was freed from jail on August 9th, 2013 after serving 28 years. Now, this was due to a controversial technicality decided by the state court. Now, 5 days later, the Mexican federal court issued an arrest warrant against Caro Quintero. He remains at large as a wanted fugitive in Mexico, the United States, and many, many other countries. The United States is offering a $20 million bounty for his arrest. He is 6 feet tall and well-built at 190 pounds. He is also a character on the television show Narcos. You will note that I have nothing negative to say about this handsome gentleman. Sir? The seventh person on the FBI's most wanted list is Robert William Fisher. In Scottsdale, Arizona, he shot his wife in the back of the head and slit the throats of his 12-year-old daughter and 10-year-old son. He then detonated his house with gas, and this is a pretty well-known case. In fact, many Redditors are actively listing possible sightings of him. One of the possible sightings was actually at the zoo that I filmed a video at on this very channel. Now, Fisher is very intelligent and charming. He is 6 foot tall, around 200 pounds, and he has work experience in the medical field. So he very well could be working in a hospital under a false name. Okay, the eighth name on this list is a hard one to pronounce, so my apologies. The eighth fugitive is Badreshkumar Chetanbhai Patel. At least that's how it's spelled. I'm going to call him Patel. So, Patel and his new bride were working at a donut shop. And this was in Hanover, Maryland. Security footage shows the two of them walking into the walk-in cooler, and only him coming out. Several hours later, customers are wondering why they aren't being served, and a police officer, because it's a donut shop, investigates. And he finds the beaten and stabbed body of Patel's bride. It is believed that they were arguing because she wanted to return to India and he wished to stay in the United States. See, his visa had expired and she was concerned that they might get in trouble. He was last seen at a train station in New Jersey. He is of Indian descent. He has brown hair, brown eyes. He is 5'9" and 165 pounds. It is believed that rather than going back to India, he is staying with family in the United States. Okay, Arnaldo Jimenez is the 9th person on the list, and again, this is for murdering a newlywed bride. Although this one is within 24 hours of actually marrying her. So, Arnaldo and his newlywed bride went to celebrate their wedding at a club. And on the way home, they got into a heated argument. He stabbed and killed her in the car, drug her body into the hotel, and left her body in the bathtub. She was still wearing the silver dress that she got married in. This all happened in Burbank, Illinois. Now, he's a pretty big guy. He's over 6 foot tall. He's around 225. If you come across him, assume he is armed and very dangerous with a rather explosive temper. Okay, now the last person on the FBI top 10 most wanted list is Alejandro Rosales Castillo. He is wanted for the murder of a coworker that he once briefly dated. She had loaned the then 17-year-old some money, and after a text exchange, they agreed to meet at a gas station so he could pay her. And instead of paying her the money that he owed her, he forced her to an ATM where she withdrew all the money from her bank account, and then he shot her in the head and dumped her body in the woods, fleeing in her black four-door Toyota Corolla. All of this took place in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, he is short at only 5'6", but he is quite stocky and a little over 180 pounds. It is thought that he has relocated to Guanajuato, Mexico, which is an hour and a half north of Mexico City. Alright, so that is, according to fbi.gov, the 10 most wanted fugitives. Now, I do hope that you found this video at least somewhat educational or entertaining. I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Please like the video, subscribe, leave a comment or two. And remember, if it doesn't look like it will fit, it probably won't. And knowing is half the battle.